sending you
New
over
York
to something
City.
called Puffy Flavor Camp.
Did you feel like that took away from your childhood at all?
Giving up is not an option in life. There's always a way.
The allegations are absolutely horrific.
Were you the only kid at Puffy Flavor Camp?
Where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose.
Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs accused of trafficking and assault.
We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp. Did you feel like that took away from your childhood at all? Giving up is not an option in life. There's always a way. The allegations are absolutely horrific. Were you the only kid at Puffy Flavor Camp? Where were we hanging out and what were we doing? We can't really disclose. Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs is accused of abuse and assault.
Because I think if a victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious this shit is. Because if he can be a predator, then anybody can be a predator.
Can't smile on your face the whole time.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, people look at Usher, they don't see that. They're not seeing the victim. They're not seeing that boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what the intentions was in his heart when he took Justin Bieber there.
Oh.
Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute. And his management was backing him off. But it wasn't until Usher took over management and had guardianship and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that.
Usher, I think if a victim comes out against Usher, it'll show how egregious this expletive is. Because if he can be a predator, then anybody can. Okay, smile in your face the whole time. You feel what I'm saying? People look at Usher and don't see that. They're not seeing the victim. They're not seeing the boy that got rushed to the hospital. They're not seeing what his intentions were when he took Justin Bieber there. Let's be honest. He took Justin Bieber there. Diddy had been trying to get to Bieber for a minute, but his management was backing him off. It wasn't until Usher took over management and gave temporary guardianship to the diddler for 48 hours. Think about that.
I don't care what they say, because they tried to push me out. They didn't want me in. They would actually say, you're too close to the project. No, I'm not. Because remember, Usher went to stay with Puffy. Now that was a business decision right there, because I didn't know Puffy. I didn't know him.
How old was he?
Usher was 15. He lost his voice.
Physically or just?
Puberty. He's growing and he lost his voice. So he lost his range. So the record company felt like, okay, this is not a great investment. So Puffy was there and I will never forget it. We had this conversation and he said, you're going to have to trust me. That was really, really a hard decision.
I don't care what they say. They tried to push me out. They didn't want me in. They'd actually say, you're too close to the project. No, I'm not. Because remember, Usher went to stay with Puffy. Now that was a business decision. I didn't know Puffy. I didn't know him. Usher was 15. He lost his voice. Physically or just due to puberty. He was growing and he lost his range. So the record company felt like, okay, this is not a great investment. So Puffy was there, and I'll never forget it. We had this conversation. He said, you're going to have to trust me. That was a really, really hard decision.
Yeah, we want to thank you. Come here. Don't sit on the bed at night. No homo. No, just don't get close to the bed. Don't get close. But it's just like, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man. It's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it, and you did it.
No. I definitely didn't have to do it. I definitely didn't have to. First and foremost, I'm not getting in the bed. Shout out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna, if we can, let's just put the camera a little this way, just so we're not. I don't want my shot to even, I don't want it to come close to the bed, at all. Usher look like he's fresh off a goddamn plane. Usher.
Fresh off the guard stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, pause, but like that's how. I mean, back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And I love him.
What the f did Puff just say? Nobody's gonna acknowledge this but me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes, and we're streaming live. That was stupid. Listen.
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
what it was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle,
right?
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it.
Biggie Smalls.
We want to thank you. Come here. Don't sit on the bed or nothing. No homo. Just don't get close to the bed. Don't get close. Yo, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man. It's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it. No, I definitely didn't have to do it. First and foremost, I'm not getting in the bed. Shout out to him and what he did. I'm just going to, if we can let's just move the camera a bit. I don't want my shot to even look like it's close to the bed. Usher looks like he's fresh off a goddamn plane. Or the garden stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and, damn, pause. But back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. But that's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle over the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get them early. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And I'm like, yo, what the expletive did Puff just say? Nobody's going to acknowledge this. Puff just said we used to wrestle over Frosted Flakes. And we're streaming live. That was stupid. I moved to New York City and lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year. That was L.A. Reid's idea. We're sending you to something called Puffy Flavor Camp. There you go. Flavor Camp. That's what it was called. You're going to Puff Daddy's place in the 90s. Do you understand what that's like? Puffy's place was filled with chicks and orgies. Non-stop. Right? No, not really. But hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things. But you were 13. What were you seeing? I went there to see the lifestyle, and I saw it. But I don't know if I could even understand what I was looking at. It was pretty wild. So nobody tried to, a woman didn't come along. I didn't say that. What I said was, there were very curious things taking place. And I didn't necessarily understand. Was Biggie Smalls there? Smalls was there.
I know, and people know, that was around in that time that Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now I let Usher explain that to y'all. I let Usher tell that story. But how dare you say a man that groomed you, you gonna give him a pass? Bruh, you know I know. Let me reframe you on something. Remember Usher? We was at the Swiss Hotel. Puff had Kim in the room. Had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big room outside the master bedroom. He came outside in his robe. She gave him a fellatio right there. His back was turned to me. She gave him a fellatio. You knocked on the door. I came and opened the door for you. Puff went in the room. You came in the room and kissed that girl dead in her mouth. Now I'm telling that because you taking up for somebody that you know and a lot of more people know didn't do you right when you was at Diddy camp.
I know, and people know, that around that time, Puff and Usher did have a situation, and that situation led Usher to the hospital. Now, I'll let Usher explain that to y'all. I'll let him tell that story. But how dare you give a pass to a man that groomed you, bro? You know I know. Let me reframe it for you. Remember Usher. We were at the Swiss hotel. Puff had Kim in the room. He had one of Keith Sweat's baby mothers in the big room, outside the master bedroom. He came out in a robe. She gave him fellatio right there. His back was turned to me. You knocked on the door. I opened it for you. Puff went in the room. You came in the room and kissed that girl dead in the mouth. I'm telling that because you're taking up for someone that you, and a lot of other people, know didn't do you right at Diddy camp.
You get career. Do you know Raymond Usher the Fourth? No. Do you know an individual, an entertainer by the name of Usher?
Yeah, Usher. That sounds familiar.
Isn't it true that Usher was instrumental in starting your career?
What does that have to do with this litigation, Mr. DeKalb? This is just you trying to harass the client.
Before we came back here, you had asked me.
She's going to
Let her read back the question. Thank you for your memory.
Is it true that Usher was very instrumental in starting your career? That was the last question. I was found on YouTube. I think that I was detrimental to my own career.
Justin Bieber, is continuing the purge. He has now moved to unfollow Usher, okay, his original mentor. So this is a very big story. And the reason why we should discuss this and we should not diminish what is happening, it's not celebrity drama. This is actually the fall of Babylon that we are witnessing, Hollywood Babylon, that is. Of course, many people, I believe, are accurately assuming that this has something to do, one element has to do with the Diddy lawsuit. A lot of revelations were made in the Diddy lawsuit. So I'm going to start this by saying allegedly. Okay, obviously, he has not yet been convicted of everything, but I knew that he was going to get arrested because after reading through this lawsuit, there were just so many pictures, way too many descriptions. He had hours of video footage proving his claims. I'm referring to the person who initially filed this, Rodney Lil Rod, a producer who went into great detail, laborious effort to basically describe almost a homosexual ring in which people were being drugged at various Diddy parties. But he describes how essentially him, being a young producer, they tried to initiate him into homosexuality. And I'm going to read this directly from a lawsuit. It says, quote, Mr. Combs, that's Diddy, used access to Stevie J and his knowledge that the producer, Mr. Jones, admired Stevie J to groom and enticed Mr. Jones to engage in homosexuality. But then there's a footnote in the filing, right? Because the names are redacted. And in the footnote, it reads that regarding the R&B singer that Diddy allegedly slept with, he performed at the Super Bowl and had a successful Vegas residency. So this let people know that very clearly the name that was redacted had to have been Usher, because it was Usher who recently performed at the Super Bowl, and it was Usher at the time of this filing who had just had a very successful Vegas residency.
I was flown out to Atlanta by a manager. His name was Scooter Braun. Just to meet with him, some producers, different people. I was going to meet Jermaine Dupri at his studio. And who rolls up? Usher in his Range Rover. I was like, is that who I think it is? And Scooter said, yeah. So I ran up to him. I said, Usher, Usher, I love your songs. Want me to sing you one? He goes, let's just go inside, little buddy. It's cold out. In the politest possible way, he turned me down. I was a little disappointed, but a week later, he watched my videos with my manager and said, oh my gosh, why didn't I let him sing? So, he flew me back to Atlanta. I got to meet him again. He wanted to sign me, but there was someone else, Justin Timberlake. He also wanted to sign me. What happened was, Justin Timberlake and Usher both basically went into a ring and boxed it out, and the outcome, Usher. I think it was a TKO. Justin Bieber turned 15, and suddenly Hollywood seemed eager to initiate him. I think that's the word. Like there was some sort of initiation he needed to go through. Now, I want you to be super uncomfortable and watch this clip of an interaction between him and Diddy. Justin, he's in. You ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the time of their lives. What are we doing? We can't really disclose. But it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. You know, he's signed to Usher. I'm signed to Usher. I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I don't really have legal guardianship of Justin. But for the next 48 hours, he's with me. And we're going full buck, full crazy. I'm going crazy.
Flown out to Atlanta by a manager. His name's Scooter Braun. Flown out to Atlanta just to meet with him and meet different producers and different people. I was actually going to meet Jermaine Dupri at his studio, and who rolls up? Usher in his Range Rover. Yeah, rolls up, and I was like, "Is that who I think it is?" And Scooter was like, "Yeah." And so I ran up to him and I was like, "Usher, Usher, I love your songs. You want me to sing you one?" And he was like, let's just go inside, little buddy. It's cold out. So the politest possible way he could say no, he did. And I was like, wow, he just turned me down. And I was a little disappointed. He had to go into a studio session, so I was like, whatever. And a week later, he actually watched my videos with my manager and was like, oh my gosh, why didn't I let him sing? So flew me back to Atlanta where I got to meet him again. And he wanted to sign me. But there was something else.
Justin Timberlake, right?
Yes, Justin Timberlake also wanted to sign me. It was like kind of like, what happened was Justin Timberlake and Usher both went into a ring and boxed it out. And the outcome was Usher. I think it was a TKO.
Justin Bieber turned 15, and it suddenly seemed that Hollywood was keen to almost initiate him. I think that's the right word. Like there was almost like this initiation that he needed to go through. So I want you to be now super uncomfortable and watch this video of an interaction between him and none other than Diddy. Take a listen.
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
Going crazy.
So young Justin Bieber, who was signed by Usher, involved with Scooter Braun, now all of a sudden he's being put in the hands of Diddy, who, it is true, he became the legal guardian for Usher. You can look up all of the allegations of what Diddy did to Usher.
Usher was the... When you get career help, do you know Raymond Usher Beyonce? No. Do you know an entertainer by the name of Usher? Yeah, Usher. That sounds familiar. Isn't it true that Usher was instrumental in starting your career? What? Does that have to do with this litigation, Mr. Dow? This is just you trying to harass the client. Let her read back the question. Thank you for your memory. Is it true that someone else? That was the last question. I was found on YouTube. I think I was detrimental to my own career. Justin Bieber is continuing the purge. He's now unfollowed Usher, his original mentor. That's a very big story. This isn't just celebrity drama. This is the fall of Babylon, Hollywood Babylon. Many believe this has to do with the Diddy lawsuit. A lot of revelations came out. Allegedly, of course. He hasn't been convicted. I knew he'd be arrested. The lawsuit was full of detail. Hours of video footage too. The plaintiff, Rodney Lil Rod Jones, described being groomed and drugged. He said he was targeted to be initiated into homosexuality. One footnote in the lawsuit says the unnamed R&B singer, Diddy, allegedly slept with, performed at the Super Bowl, and had a Vegas residency. People quickly assumed it was Usher, because Usher had just performed at the Super Bowl and had a successful Vegas residency at the time.
And then you have him come to audition for you, right?
Actually, there were a few people. My wife at the time.
Right.
It also was Perry Reed, L.A. Reid's first wife.
You were all sitting in a room somewhere.
We were in a room.
Yeah.
And I showed her the video. And Perry says, "Are you crazy? You better get down there and meet this kid right now. He's amazing."
When all these pics come out and all this stuff with Bieber's big penis, are you the mastermind behind that? Say, listen, show off your big penis and people will come to those concerts. Or are you sitting there?
Is that the kind of managing he's doing?
Usher, are you sitting down with him and saying, yeah, show your or leave it in your pants? I mean, do you sit him down and say, look, part of this is PR, man?
By the way, he does have a brain of his own.
Yeah, but were you shocked at the size of his penis?
Hey, listen, he has a mind of his own. What he chose to do with his penis is his prerogative. He's managing that aspect of his life.
But Usher is somebody.
I have nothing to do with Justin Bieber's private parts, man. Come on.
The way And then you had them come to audition for you? Yeah, a few people. My wife at the time. Also Perry Reed, L.A. Reid's first wife. You were all in the same room. Yeah. I showed her the video, and Perry says, "Are you crazy? You better get down there and meet this kid right now. He's amazing." When all those pictures came out, Bieber's big penis. Were you the mastermind behind that? Did you say, "Show off your big penis"? When people come to concerts, are you sitting with him like, "Yeah, show it off or leave it in your pants"? Look, he has a brain of his own, but were you shocked by the size of his penis? Hey, he has a mind of his own. What he does with his penis is his business. That's his prerogative. Usher had nothing to do with Justin Bieber's private parts, man. Come on.
What the hell was going on between Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber? Well, he has addressed it. Fans noticed that he unfollowed his wife on Instagram. Also, this comes after he unfollowed Scooter Braun and Usher, his longtime mentor. Some fans think that this is all a marketing PR stunt, and it could be true because he's been pretty active on Instagram and even previewed a new song. Guys, what did we just listen to? Like, what was that? Others think he's distancing himself from people tied to controversies. Well, he addressed everything in this post and refollowed Hailey. He said, "Someone went on my account and unfollowed my wife. Shit is getting sus out here."
We did have a brief conversation.
What the hell was going on between Justin Bieber and Hailey Bieber? Well, he's addressed it. Fans noticed that he unfollowed his wife on Instagram. This also comes after he unfollowed Scooter Braun and Usher, his longtime mentor. Some fans think this is all just a marketing PR stunt, and it could be true since he's been pretty active on Instagram lately, and even previewed a new song called The Hate. Okay, actors, but like, just to go out the country, you know? Guys, what did we just listen to? Like, what was that? Others think he's distancing himself from people tied to controversies. He addressed everything in a post and refollowed Hailey. He said, "Someone went on my account and unfollowed my wife. It's getting sus out here. We did have a brief conversation."
That it might have been the fact that he was just, wanting to tell a different story right now. And I understand that. But we did have a brief conversation, and you know, we're gonna do something else in the future. But there's no love lost or anything like that. I think that it's a lot of pressure for the Super Bowl, obviously, for me to put together a show. So I reached out to everybody. Justin wasn't the only person that I actually spoke to about doing the Super Bowl. But the moment was maybe for later.
Minors. You know, I think it might have been that he just wanted to tell a different story right now. And I understand that. We did have a brief conversation, and, you know, we're gonna do something else in the future. But there's no love lost, or anything like that. I think it's a lot of pressure for the Super Bowl, obviously, for me to put together a show. So I reached out to everybody. Justin wasn't the only person I spoke to about doing the Super Bowl, but maybe the moment is for later.
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, you know, telling me they love me and, you know, just turn their back on you in a second. So yeah, it's hard because I want her to know that, you know, she can count on me, but at the end of the day, I'm never gonna force myself to be in a relationship with her. It has to be natural, right? So I just kind of, you know, let her do her thing, and if she ever needs me, I'm gonna be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters, and yeah, so yeah, I just want to protect her, you know. I don't want her to lose it. I don't want her to, you know, go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. So yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call away.
I don't think he's coming back out anytime soon.
I'm scared that the security will I'll fucking run it.
I do feel bad, sorry for him. We're all trying to bombard.
Oh my God, I got a vehicle for me.
Justin used it was hard for me, being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn. Everyone was telling me they loved me and then would turn their back on me in a second. So yeah, it's hard. I want her to know that she can count on me. But at the end of the day, I'm never going to force myself into a relationship with her. It has to be natural. So I just let her do her thing, and if she ever needs me, I'm going to be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments. People take encounters for granted. I just want to protect her. I don't want her to lose it. I don't want her to go through anything I went through. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. So yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call away. I don't think he's coming back anytime soon. I'm scared. I do feel kind of sorry for him. We're all trying to bombard. Oh my God.
Anyways, I want to also just show you this montage. This is a montage that was shared by Evie Magazine. They do great work on their TikTok of Justin Bieber, again, just 15 years old, in Hollywood, surrounded by a bunch of adults. And you let me know if any of this registers to you as normal. Take a listen.
I feel violated right now. Wow.
Lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you?
Thank you.
How old are you?
I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks.
I don't ever remember smelling that good at 16. Like that was bad.
Yeah.
Wow, look at your eyes. Yeah, look at what a beautiful face.
Justin Bieber's rep is breaking their silence on recent rumors regarding drug use. A rep for the singer, who shares 6-month-old son Jack Blues Bieber with wife Hailey Bieber, is firing back at recent claims that Justin has been using hard drugs. His rep tells TMZ on February 23rd that it's, quote, absolutely not true. His team adds that it's been a very transformative year for Justin as he, quote, ended several close friendships and business relationships that no longer served him. As Justin's 31st birthday approaches on March 1st, he's focused on his family and his music, not speculation about his health, which his rep calls, quote, exhausting and pitiful, and shows that despite the obvious truth, people are committed to keeping negative, salacious, harmful narratives alive.
Anyway, I also want to show you this montage. This is a clip shared by Evie Magazine. They do great work on their TikTok. It's of Justin Bieber, just 15 years old in Hollywood, surrounded by a bunch of adults. You let me know if any of this registers to you as normal. Take a listen. Wow, I feel violated right now. Wow, lean into me again. You smell amazing. How old are you? Thank you. I'm 16. I'll be 17 in like 2 weeks. I don't ever remember smelling that good at 16. Like that. Was bad. Wow. Look at your eyes. What a beautiful face. Justin Bieber's rep is breaking their silence on recent drug use rumors. A rep for the singer, who shares 6-month-old son, Jack Blues Bieber, with wife Hailey Bieber, is firing back at recent claims that Justin has been using hard drugs. His rep told TMZ on February 23rd that the rumors are absolutely not true. His team added that it's been a very transformative year for Justin, as he ended several close friendships and business relationships that no longer served him. As Justin's 31st birthday approaches on March 1st, he's focused on his family and music, not speculation about his health, which his rep calls exhausting and pitiful, showing that despite the obvious truth, people remain committed to keeping negative, salacious, and harmful narratives alive.
You mentioned minors, and a lot have been real quiet about this. I mean, I think like a lot of the other celebrities.
I was reading some, Cam, and the kid say after he went to Diddy camp, he started using drugs so heavy and was smashed every day.
His lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, made it clear that race is going to be front and center. Let's switch our focus to the government. In my opinion, I'm just going to say it the way it is. The government has historically been no friend of the successful black man. None. They're starting to make this case, in my opinion, as a takedown of a successful black man. Here's a man who has created some of the most important black-owned businesses. The vision was his. And yet, what have we done? We've reduced him, not everyone, but a large part of society, to a monster that should shake us. Mark Agnifilo, obviously white. The co-counsel, Tenny Geragos, white. And Mark Geragos, her dad, who we're told will play a significant part in the case, also white. Let's not forget there will be at least one, if not a parade, of black female witnesses claiming they were victimized by Diddy. So having a high-powered legal team with all white faces defending him might backfire, because to a jury, it could appear that these alleged black female victims are being targeted.
In one, his lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, made it very clear that race is going to be front and center.
Let's switch our focus to the government. In my opinion, I'm just going to say it the way it is. No friend historically of the successful black man. Okay? None. And they start making this case, in my opinion, as a takedown of a successful black man. Here's a man who has made some of the most important businesses owned by a black man. Run, owned, created, founded. The vision was that of a black man. What have we done? We have reduced him, not everyone, but a large amount of our society, to being a monster. That should make us shake in our boots.
So, Mark Agnifilo, obviously white.
Yes.
The co-counsel is Tenny Geragos, white. And Mark Geragos, her dad, who we're told is going to play a significant part in this case, white.
Well, and let's remember, you're going to have at least one witness and probably a parade of witnesses of black females who are going to claim they were victimized by Diddy. And so in order to give sort of a human face to that, maybe suggest that's not the case, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, the jury is finding cues in every piece of evidence, but also who's representing him. And if they just have a bunch of white folks sort of defending him, all those black female alleged victims maybe going to look like they're being targeted by his high-priced legal team.
Talk about the courtroom showdown over the bombshell video allegedly showing Sean Diddy Combs beating his then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. Now Diddy's lawyers are trying to exclude the footage from the upcoming trial. Legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer breaks down what this means for the case. So, what's their argument? Mark Agnifilo, Combs' attorney, is saying that the video isn't a true and accurate representation. He claims CNN sped it up, chopped it into a montage, and altered it. He also says the original video no longer exists. So, because this version isn't accurate, the jury shouldn't see it. CNN, however, says, "We didn't alter it, we didn't change anything," and they claim to have the original, so that really weakens Combs' defense. Even if CNN's version is sped up, if the original exists, it can still be used as evidence. It could be used to show force or coercion as part of the trafficking and RICO conspiracy charges. Meanwhile, Combs is also trying to suppress other evidence from federal raids, claiming those searches were unconstitutional.
About the showdown in the courtroom over the bombshell video allegedly showing Sean Diddy Combs beating his then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura.
Now, Diddy's lawyers are arguing to exclude the footage from the rapper's upcoming sex trafficking trial. Legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer joins us now with more on what this could mean for the high-profile case. So good to have you. Okay, so they want this video left out. What's their argument for this?
So, Mark Agnifilo, Sean Combs' attorney, is arguing that, you probably hear this phrase, this is not a true and accurate representation of what the video depicts. He's saying a number of arguments that the CNN had taken this video and sped it up, they kind of chopped it up into this montage, and it's not accurate. He's also making the allegation that the original video no longer exists, and so because this isn't accurate, the jury shouldn't see it, and according to Diddy's attorneys, because the original doesn't exist or it's been tampered with, no videos such as this should be presented to the jury.
So what does CNN say about these claims?
So CNN has come out and said, we did not alter it, we did not change anything, and in fact they're saying that they do have the original as well. So on multiple levels, Sean Combs' argument kind of falls flat, because if it is sped up, and I think there is some degree of it's being sped up, if the original still exists, that can still be used as evidence against Sean Combs, not necessarily to the allegations of trafficking, RICO conspiracy, or the transportational purpose of prostitution, but to show that this is a force that it was used to keep victim number one, who we believe to be Cassie in this video, under his control for the purpose of trafficking and this RICO conspiracy.
Now to Sean Diddy Combs, looking to suppress evidence in his federal trial. Senior investigative correspondent Aaron Katersky is back with the story. Good morning again, Aaron.
And to you, Michael. You'll remember federal agents from Homeland Security investigations were hardly shy when they raided Sean Combs' opulent homes in Los Angeles and Miami, guns drawn. The jailed music mogul now argues those searches and other searches of his iCloud accounts, electronic devices, and New York City hotel room following his arrest were unconstitutional. His lawyers argue evidence obtained through those searches must be suppressed. Diddy's lawyers say the government presented a grossly distorted picture of reality when applying for the search warrants, omitting certain facts and including salacious details from an unnamed producer that were never credible. Combs has pleaded not guilty to racketeering conspiracy, trafficking, and prostitution charges. The defense is also arguing here his ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, was a willing participant in drug-fueled sex performances called freak-offs, not coerced as prosecutors allege. This latest challenge to his case comes 3 months before trial, and as Combs loses one of his attorneys, Anthony Rico says under no circumstances can he continue to represent Combs. He offered no details about that decision, Robin.
Okay. All right. Thanks to you, Aaron.
The allegations involve dozens of unidentified witnesses and alleged co-conspirators around the world. Some key witnesses are even dead, raising serious concerns about how the defense can investigate or counter the claims. The defense can't even share the identities of those individuals with Mr. Combs until April 18th. That's a huge handicap for the legal team. If these new allegations are allowed in, it could double the length of the trial, which was originally expected to last just 3 weeks. That's major. The defense is arguing. How can he properly defend himself in just a few weeks? Cassie, however, plans to testify, and under her real name. Most other accusers are Jane Doe's or victim no one, but Cassie is going to take the stand and look Diddy straight in the eye to tell her story. That's not good news for him. She's a celebrity, a public figure. Millennials know who she is. She had a booming career. That adds even more weight to her testimony. She went public after that surveillance video came out on CNN, and now she's not hiding behind anonymity. She wants to lay it all out. Yikes. This could get very, very bad for Diddy.
The allegations implicate dozens of unidentified witnesses and alleged co-conspirators around the world, and some of the key witnesses to the supposed incidents are dead. Basically meaning, how can we defend against it? The defense is not even permitted to share the identities of the individuals described in the disclosure letter with Mr. Combs until April 18th, further hampering defense counsel's ability to investigate. Collectively, these new allegations require many months, if not years, to investigate, and if admitted, would require a series of mini trials, certain to double the length of a trial the government originally said would last 3 weeks. So this is an explosive allegation that on its face, I don't know if I necessarily disagree with. If they are bringing in evidence of uncharged conduct, wouldn't the defense have an opportunity to investigate it and challenge it? It seems like they're making a point. So if this evidence is allowed in, there is a chance this could delay the trial significantly. We all know Combs wants to go to trial, but how can he properly defend himself against this in just a few weeks?
All right, Cassie, she plans to testify against Diddy at the trial, and she's going to use her name. So a lot of the women who have accused Diddy are anonymous. They're Jane Doe or Victim One.
Or John Doe's.
Or John Doe's. But Cassie allegedly, apparently, is going to take the stand and talk about her abuse. Obviously, that tape of him beating her up at the hotel is what set off this whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, this has just made it matters so bad for Diddy. So now that she is going to sit up there and like look him square in the eyes and talk about her side of the story, that's not great for Diddy, obviously.
No, and like I think also Cassie is a celebrity, right? Like millennials know who she was or is. She had like a booming career back in the day. So I think it also adds some extra zhuzh when you have like a well-known public figure coming forward.
Trusted public figure.
Trusted and beloved too. So I think that also will hurt him. She, of course, became public. All of this went public when that video came out from CNN. So it's been revealed who she is already, and now she is not looking to conceal her name. She wants to, you know, put it all out on the table. And yeah, yikes, it could be really bad for him.